All right, all praise to Yahweh in the name of his son, Yahweh Shai, in the name of the Holy Spirit. Double honors to my elders, apostles, and the bishops of Great Millstone, otherwise known as GMS, also known as the prophets of doom. These are where I have learned this truth, and these are where I am still learning this truth, and also shalom to the remnant and the elect of Israel. Lord willing, I'm of that number. All right, today we're going to continue on with the video that I titled if you are going through hell, keep going. What we're speaking about is hell and the true meaning and the false meaning of it. All right, the false meaning being what most of the world thinks of when they hear that word hell, which is a place where your spirit and your soul burns forever. All right, that's a cunningly devised fable. Okay, it's a cunningly devised fable. All right, so we're going to pick right up right where we left off. Reading about, I had asked Google, without fire included in the description, okay, what is hell? Okay, we read down, well, I'll read and we'll just catch up to where we were in that video. So it says, some religions and interpretations describe hell as a state of separation from God rather than a physical place of fire. And this is true, all right? Being separated from Yahweh, Baal Shem Yahweh Shai, all right, is hell, all right? Hell is also a condition that you are in, a state of the body, uh, um, a position that you're in, all right? Hell is, all right, as being in this truth and seeing the world for what it is, hell is clocking in and working for the enemy, all right? So hell is not a place, but it is a state of being also. Also, it is the pit, all right, where the bodies go. All right, but your spirit, when your body goes to the ground, your spirit goes back up to whom sent it. Those flames act simply as a, what was that word? Hold on. Symbolic representation, okay, of the torment, okay, that you go through. Of, so let me finish reading this. We're going to get to all of that. So it says, here's how some views define hell without literal fire. It says eternal separation. Hell is understood as a state of being eternally apart from, and I'm gonna use Yahweh. All right, apart from Yahweh, Baal Shem Yahweh Shai's presence and grace. This separation can lead to emotional and spiritual torment. All right, this is very true. I can't imagine now knowing the truth, turning away and going back to the world, man. All right. It says a hell without fires. It says this phrase used in the context of describing the experience of enslaved people represents an earthly existence of suffering and oppression that is a kind of hell on earth. And a lot of people don't think or don't know that they are in hell. Forgetting who you are. It said the worst kind of captivity that you can be in is one in which you forget who you are, right? And that speaks to most Israel. Okay, we talked about Psalm the 83rd chapter, where it was a mission to cut off Israel from being remembered, being in remembrance. All right, and if you cut the name off, we know that the name goes back to everything that has to do with that name. All right, the reputation. Okay, and our reputation at the time that the Lord made us were to be the sons of power, sons of God. All right, we have fell from that and become used and accustomed to being in this hell, thinking that this is life. So a lot of us don't even recognize that we are in hell because we don't recognize who we are. But for the ones who are awakened, Okay, the ones who the Lord has allowed to see and to hear and to understand what is going on. All right, we recognize that this is hell. All right, which also is someone's heaven. All right, who would that be? All right, this is a lot of the world's hell. All right, being under the rule of Esau, Edom. All right, but we are at the lowest in this uh in this world. All right, in Esau's kingdom. So it says complete darkness and sensory deprivation. We talked about uh, being in gross darkness, right? Not having this knowledge, not having this truth, whether that be from you rejecting it or from it not getting to you yet. But all of that has to do with how the Lord is sending the Spirit out. All right. But in the end, the world will know the truth. All right. They will have come up against this truth in some shape, form, or fashion. Or everybody's going to, no one is going to be with the excuse, be able to use the excuse that they did not know this truth. We also talked about the spirit of deep sleep. Again, speaking to the same thing as a gross darkness, not knowing this truth, being outside of the light. So it says complete darkness and sensory deprivation. Some interpretations describe hell as a place of complete darkness and the absence of sensory input in the spirit. All right, people who are not in this truth are in darkness. Okay, they don't understand what's going on around them, even if it's right in their face. They don't perceive that anything is going on. All right, so uh, scriptures like what was that, Ephesians 4:12. Let me see. All right, scriptures like this don't mean anything to certain people. I think that's what it is. No. Oh, what is that? What am I thinking of? Hold on. Um, 6:12 is it? Ephesians 6:12. My bad. I said 4:12. It reads, "For we wrestle not against flesh and blood, but against principalities, against powers, against the rulers of the darkness of this world, against spiritual wickedness in high places." You read this to most people, and they don't doesn't mean anything to them. All right, you have been disarmed to the point where you don't even know, understand, or consider that there's a spiritual war going on here. Okay, and we need this truth. We need the Lord's word. We need the precepts. We need Yahweh Shai. That's what it amounts to. We need Yahweh, Baal Hashem Yahweh Shai. Ephesians 6:13. Wherefore take unto you the whole armor of Yahweh, Baal Hashem Yahweh Shai, which is this truth, this light. Okay, that ye may be able to withstand in the evil day, having done all to stand. What is that done all? All right. If you don't know this truth, you don't take heed to it. How are you going to know how to walk, what to avoid, all right, what to do? Okay, so you are in gross darkness, so you have the spirit of deep sleep upon you. All right, so let's go on and read some more. Metaphorical suffering. It says the intense pain and harsh conditions often associated with hell including fire, can be interpreted as a symbolic representation, as symbolic representations of emotional and spiritual suffering, particularly the pain of being separated from Yahweh, Baal Hashem Yahweh Shai. All right, and what is a greater pain than that? All right, what is a greater pain than being separated from Yahweh, Baal Hashem Yahweh Shai? All right, So this is going to start on to what we didn't get to. All right, this reads the second death, annihilation. It says some views like an annihilationism propose that the wicked are ultimately destroyed or cease to exist rather than enduring an eternal torment. And that's what it is, all right? The wicked, starting with Esau, Edom, the wicked, okay? These heathens, the other nations, all outside of Israel, and even 2/3 of Israelites are going to be cut off. They're not going to be burning someplace burning, all right? Their spirit is not going to be someplace burning forever. The 2/3 are going to be, the Israelites that get destroyed by the Lord are going to be rebirthed back into the kingdom. All right, Esau is going to be done away with, and not even his spirit is going to burn forever. Although it doesn't specify what exactly is going to happen, all right, we do know that they are going to be destroyed and wiped out. Now, what does that mean after the fact? We don't know. We go by what the scriptures tell us. All right, and that second death. All right, the first death was the flood. All right, the second death is this fire that's coming upon the earth. All right. So it says the grave, Sheol or Hades, and we talked about Sheol, Hades, all right, all talking about that word hell. Okay. It says the grave, Sheol or Hades. In some biblical interpretations, hell is simply the grave or the place of the dead without implying eternal punishment. And that's exactly what it is. It's not a place where your soul burns forever. Okay. These are all symbolic. All right, it says it's important to note that religious interpretations of hell vary widely. While some traditions strongly emphasize an eternal torment and fire, others focus on alternative concepts like separation from Yahweh, Bohoshim Yahweh Shai, annihilation, or a temporary state of punishment. Okay? So hell, as the world thinks of it, is a cunningly devised fable. Let me see what else we had here. All right, let's go here to Colossians chapter 2 and verse 14. Actually, not 2 and 14. Hold on. Let me see what scripture did I have up here. Excuse me. Colossians chapter 2 and 8. It says, beware lest any man spoil you through philosophy and vain deceit, after the tradition of men, after the rudiments of this world, and not after the Messiah. So how would you put on this truth, the armor of the Lord, if all you're doing is listening to someone who is leading you down to traditions of men and the rudiments of this world? How are you going to know the difference unless you go in here and you obey what the Lord tells you as far as reading, studying, becoming workmen? All right, so let's go in here and get this word for philosophy.
Strong's G 5385. Philosophia. Philosophia.
You all right? So the word for philosophy means, it says outline of biblical usage. It says love of wisdom. It says used either of zeal for or skill in any art or science, any branch of knowledge, used once in the New Testament of the theology, or rather the theosophy of certain, it says here, Jewish Christian ascetics, which busied itself with refined and speculative inquiries into the nature and classes of angels, into the ritual of the Mosaic law, and the regulations of, says again here, Jewish tradition respecting practical life. So down here in Strong's definition, it says Jewish sophistry. We already went over what is sophistry. Let me see if I can find that again. We talked about what a sophist was, so let's go back here and get that definition again. I typed in sophistry this time. All right.
Sophistry.
The use of fallacious arguments, especially with the intention of deceiving. And I just heard a brother the other day say that a lot of these things came from Jake. All right, they have an imagination. Okay, they have an imagination. So a lot of these things came from the imagination of people. So let's go back now. Okay, let's get the word now for deceit. We should all have an idea what deceit is.
Strong's G 539. Apate. Apate.
All right, deceit, deceitfulness. So let's go up here and look it up really quick.
Deceit.
The action or practice of deceiving someone by concealing or misrepresenting the truth. All right, this is where all this stuff has came from, man. Where were we again? Let's see. Okay. So again, the scripture we're talking about is Colossians 2:8. Beware lest any man spoil you through philosophy, all right, sophistry, and vain deceit, after the tradition of men. So let's go look at that. What's tradition?
Strong's G 3862. Paradosis. Paradosis.
Tradition, it says giving up, giving over, the act of giving up, a giving over which is done by word of mouth or in writing, i.e. tradition by instruction, narrative, or precept. All right, so if you're living by the precepts of men, what do we say the precepts of the Lord was? Regulation of thought and behavior. So if you do the precepts of men, all right, you're going by their regulation of your thoughts and behaviors. All right. So let's go back here now. Rudiments of the world.
Strong's G 4747. Stoichion. Stoichion.
All right. It says any first thing from which the others belonging to some series or composite whole take their rise. An element, first principle. The letters of the alphabet as the elements of speech, not however the written characters, but the spoken sounds. The elements from which all things have come, the material causes of the universe. The heavenly bodies, either as parts of the heavens or as others think, because in them the elements of man, life, and destiny were supposed to reside. me see what this is. I went to the root word. It says to direct one's life, to live, to conform to virtue and piety, or walk orderly. But remember, we're talking about the rudiments of the world. And we know whom this world was given into the hands of. Okay, the wicked. So going back here to the verse, hold on. Colossians 2:8, beware lest any man spoil you through philosophy and vain deceit, after the tradition of men, after the rudiments of the world, and not after the Messiah. So living in this world and seeing how it works and operates, and then going into the scriptures, you will find a separation. Okay? We don't live by the philosophies and the traditions of men and the rudiments of this world after coming to this truth. All right? That's why it is so important to read and to study, as the Lord stressed. Okay? To read, study, become workmen. All right? Don't listen to cunningly devised fables or old wives' tales. All right? Beware lest any man spoil you through philosophy and vain deceit, after the traditions of this world, and not after the Messiah. But you won't know the difference because they'll use these words that you think pertain to the scriptures, and they'll just trick you with that, man. Like the word hell. All right, you have to go in there and get understanding. Okay? And there's men here guiding you to the truth. All right? Let me see. What did I have up here next? All right, we went over. I think we pretty much went over. Here we went over everything, I think. Let me check this window really quick. Okay, yeah, that was. Okay, so lastly, and this was a short video. All right, lastly, I asked Google what is meant by if you are going through hell, keep going. All right, does that mean stop in the middle of the flames? And don't stop in the middle of flames. You know, just keep going through the flames while you're burning. No, this is them even speaking to what hell truly is. All right, what is meant by if you are going through hell, keep going? It says the phrase if you are going through hell, keep going means, this is important for the remnant and the elect. The phrase if you are going through hell, keep going means that when facing extreme hardships or difficulties, all right, fighting through these cunningly devised fables, okay, searching for concealed truth. I mean, as far as when we do our study, okay, all the while dealing with the lies, because they're steadily taking down truths and pushing lies, and they have a lot of people with batteries in their back, man, learning their ways, which is their manner of life. All right, people that have learned the ways of the heathen and try to hold up these lies. These are hardships and difficulties that the remnant and the elect have to deal with, but we have faith and hope that the Lord is going to keep us and have us endure till the end. All right, this is nothing for us because the Lord told us it was going to be this way. All right, but we do have to fight. All right, through all of this red tape. All right, let me see what that means really quick before I think I said something that I didn't really say. So So what is cutting through red tape? Cutting through red tape means simply bureaucratic procedures to make progress faster and easier. It refers to overcoming obstacles created by excessive regulations, rules, or procedures that hinder progress or decision making. All right, so yeah, we're in essence cutting through red tape, and uh, that's a spirit that is called cutting through red tape. All right, so let me see. Let's go back here again. The phrase "if you are going through hell, keep going" means that when facing extreme hardships or difficulty, all right, being in this hell, okay, having to deal with the condition of the battle as it stands today, all right, Lord willing, all the way until the Lord returns. We're going to have to deal with these daily things on the daily. uh, Not only telling the truth and standing up against these other nations, but especially these 2/3 Israelites over here in Babylon the Great. So the phrase "if you are going through hell, keep going" means that when facing extreme hardships or difficulty, it's crucial to persevere and not give up. Man. Let me that brought to mind right away Revelation 3 and 10. Let me just use that as an example. In Revelation 3 and 10, it says, "Because thou hast kept..." Let me start up. Let me start up. This is Revelation 3 and 8. It says, "I know thy works. I have set before thee an open door, and no man can shut it. For thou hast a little strength, and hast kept my word, and hast not denied my name." All right. Let me see what that says in the NLT. In the NLT, it says, "I know," Revelation 3 and 8 says, "I know all the things you do, and I have opened a door for you that no one can close. You have little strength, yet you obeyed my word and did not deny me." We're going through hell. All right. It is zapping us. It is a tiring thing, but we push on. All right. It is a vexing thing, but we push on in spirit. All right. Some brothers have going through physical things. All right. But we're going to keep going, Lord willing. Okay. The remnant and the elect will definitely keep going. I'm just saying, being hopeful, Lord willing, we are a part of that elect and have the strength to keep enduring. All right. Let me go back here to the King James really quick because I want to keep on reading here. So now Revelation 3 and 9, it says, "Behold, I will make them of the synagogue of Satan, which say they are Jews and are not, but do lie." All right. Speaking of you Israelites that are pushing these false narratives, man. All right. You are pushing these false narratives. You know who you are, and you are using this as an opportunity to get your own glory, to gain money, to join Israelites more so with the world than with the truth. This is who this verse is speaking of. "Behold, I will make them of the synagogue of Satan, which say they are Jews and are not, but do lie," right? Because you are not telling this truth. All right. You say you are Israelites. You say you are from the tribe of one of the 12 tribes. Okay, you know all these things, but you still tell lies. You still are leading us or leading Israelites astray leading them into the world for whatever reason. All right. This is who this is speaking of. You Israelites who are pushing a false narrative. Again, Revelation 3 and 9, behold, I will make them of the synagogue of Satan, which say they are Jews and are not, but do lie. Behold, I will make them to come and worship before thy feet, and to know that I have loved thee, because thou hast kept the word of my patience. I also will keep thee from the hour of temptation, which shall come upon all the world, and try them that dwell upon the earth. All right, so we are, Lord willing, a part of the remnant and the elect that are going to endure, that are going to persevere and not give up. All right, let me read that again. I know I've read it like 3 or 4 times, but that's all right. The phrase, if you are going through hell, keep going, means that when facing extreme hardships or difficulty, and these times are going to get to where it's extreme. All right, every time they take a step more towards Jacob's trouble, it seems more extreme, which it is more than the previous day, but it is going to be much more extreme. Okay, on a level to where we know that this is Jacob's trouble. Okay, we're in the beginnings of it, but we're gonna know when we're knee deep in the shit. All right. So the phrase, if you are going through hell, keep going, means that when you are facing extreme hardship or difficulty, it is crucial to persevere and not give up. It encourages resilience and emphasizes that while things may seem insurmountable, continued effort is essential for overcoming challenges and ultimately reaching a better outcome. All right, let's open this up a little bit. So it says, here's a more detailed explanation. Going through hell. It says this idiom describes a very difficult or unpleasant time, a situation that is intensely challenging and painful. And since our fall, all right, since Adam till now, all right, this is increasingly became more difficult and unpleasant, as the Lord told us it would get if we kept disobeying him. Okay, challenging and painful. That's on both sides. It's painful for us to see Israelites go through what they're going through and to not know the goodness that is in the truth. All right, but we know it has to be this way. Okay, and that is what strengthens us in these challenging times. Okay, it says keep going. It says this. Oh, let me find that really quick. Knowledge and stability. Isaiah 33 and 6. Isaiah 33 and 6, it says, and wisdom and knowledge shall be the stability of thy times, and strength of salvation. The fear of the Lord is his treasure. All right. Okay. So this knowledge is what's going to keep us in these days to come. All right. So again, it says keep going. It says this phrase means to continue moving forward, to not stop or give up, even when things are difficult. Okay. So it says this message, it says the complete phrase suggests that even when experiencing intense hardship, one should not succumb to despair but instead should continue striving. It's a call to action and a reminder that temporary difficulties will not last forever, and that perseverance is key to navigating through situations. All right, Romans 18 and 18 is what came to mind with that. Let's get that. Or Romans 8 and 18, excuse me. Romans 8 and 18. For I reckon that the sufferings of this present time are not worthy to be compared with the glory which shall be revealed in us. All right, the things that we go through now, in time, all right, we will see that these things don't even compare. All right, so it is worth going through what the Lord told us we were going to go through, which is all the things that are happening in this day. And I thought I had the Good News translation out here with me, but it's not. All right. Anyway, so let's read this in the NLT. Romans 8 and 18 in the NLT. Yet what we suffer now is nothing compared to the glory he will reveal to us later. Okay. ESV, for I consider that the sufferings of this present time are not worthy comparing with the glory that is to be revealed to us. AMP, for I consider from the standpoint of faith that the sufferings of the present life are not worthy to be compared with the glory that is about to be revealed to us and in us. Oh man, that just made me think of another one. Let me see if it comes back. For I consider, this is AMP Romans 8 and 18, for I consider from the standpoint of faith that the sufferings of the present life are not worthy to be compared with the glory that is about to be revealed to us and in us. Yeah, it just came back. So all right, this is Romans 13 and 11. And that knowing the time, that now is high time to awake out of sleep. All right, you should be understanding that hell is a fable, that the virgin birth is a fable, that Satan getting kicked out of heaven, taking some angels with him, is a fable. Okay, you should know all these things. You should know that that picture that we see of the Messiah is false. That picture of the last summer is false. The picture of the finger of Adam is false. You should know that Esau Edom is the self-called and so-called white man. You should know that when you hear so-called white man, that doesn't mean that every so-called white man is an Edomite. You should know that every so-called melanated person is not an Israelite. You should know that this is not a black thing. All right, this is an Israelite thing, though. You should know that the Lord is in all love. All right, you should know that the laws are not done away with. All right, wake your ass up out of sleep. All right, if the Lord will it. You should know that the Lord, as a matter of fact, you should know that the Lord controls everything. Let me find that really quick. I gotta open another window. Hold on. I mentioned this, but I didn't go to it. Revelation 19 and 6. I'll read it, and then we're gonna go look at this word omnipotent. It says, and I heard as it were the voice of a great multitude, and as the voice of many waters, and as the voice of mighty thundering, saying, Alleluia, for the Lord Yahweh power, omnipotent, reigneth. So let's go in here and look at this word, omnipotent. There is no free will, man. You wake up out of sleep, you're going to know all these things, man. If the Lord allows you to wake out of sleep. Omnipotent. It says, he who holds sway over all things. Okay? Over all things. And this was a word, my fault. This is a word.
Strong's G 3841, Pantocrator. Pantocrator.
All right. He who holds sway over all things. Also, actually, let's finish reading Romans 13 and 11. And that knowing the time, that now it is high time to awake out of sleep, for now is our salvation nearer than when we believed. All right, that's the importance of, coming up out of that gross darkness, having the spirit of deep sleep go away from you. And this is all due, or that would only happen through the strength and the power and the spirit of Yahweh Baal Shem, Yahweh Shai. All right, so let me go back here. All right, again, for I reckon that the sufferings of this present time, all right, this hell that we find ourselves in, all right, it's not even worthy to be compared with the good things that are coming. All right, we just have to let these things play out. Let patience have her perfect work. All right, be patient. And the things are going to happen that the Lord said is going to happen. Okay, let patience have her perfect work. Did I find that before? If not, let me go find it now. All right, this is James. I'll start at 1 again. The heading of James chapter 1 being testing your faith. It says, James, a servant of Yahweh and of the Lord Yahweh Shai, the Messiah, to the 12 tribes which are scattered abroad, greeting. This is all talking to Israel again. This is why they went the places that they went. This is why the Spirit is going everywhere that it's going now. All right, but it's still looking for the same people, the Israelites that are scattered. It says, "My brethren, count it all joy when ye fall into diverse temptations, knowing this, that the trying of your faith worketh patience." All right, as we are in this hell, we are having the opportunity to exercise our patience. All right, to exercise our faith and our hope that the Lord is coming. All right, so we know we have to go through this hell in order for the things to be ushered in that the Lord said is coming after we go through this hell. Okay, we're not going to get taken, or we're not going to miss going through hell. We're going to be taken out of it. We have to be in it in order to be taken out. So again, James 1 and 3, knowing this, that the trying of your faith worketh patience. But let patience have her perfect work, that ye may be perfect and entire, wanting nothing. All right, if any of you lack wisdom, let him ask of Yahweh Baal Shem Yahweh Shai, that giveth to all men liberally, and upbraideth not, and it shall be given him. But let him ask in faith, not wavering. For he that wavereth is like a wave of the sea, driven by the wind and tossed. Speaking of you, we talked about earlier that verse talking about Jews that are the synagogue of Satan. All right, these are ones that like what they hear. All right, they like the fame and the glory that this truth brings them. They like the look that it gives them. Okay, they like the reverence that it gives them. But really, they are being blown by every wind of doctrine. They take what sounds good to them, or they take what they know will sound good to the people, and they tell that instead of the truth. Especially when it comes to telling these names, man, that is key. The Lord's name is a. Let's go get that. The name of the Lord is a strong tower. All right, the righteous run to it and are safe. Let me see. All right, Proverbs 18 and 10. The name of the Lord, Yahweh, okay, is a strong tower. The righteous runneth into it and is safe. All right, you got people running around here Israelites, right, those Jews that are of the synagogue of Satan, running around here, knowing the names and playing around with it, man. Telling you to call on this other name, which is a whole other identity, deity, right? The Jesus and the Christ. Okay, that's a whole other deity, man. That's not the Messiah of the Bible. Why are you still using that name? That name goes along with that deity, the all love, the no law, okay? The looking like a so-called white man, all right? Not the truth of the Bible. That's what that deity represents, all right? It represents a stronghold of this world, man. Let's see. Hold on. All right, this is 2 Corinthians chapter 10. We'll start at 3. It says, "For though we walk in the flesh, we do not war after the flesh. For the weapons of our warfare are not carnal, but mighty through Yahweh Bahashem Yahushai to the pulling down of strongholds, casting down imaginations, and every high thing that exalted itself against the knowledge of our power," all right, against the truth of our power, okay, and bringing into captivity every thought to the obedience of the Messiah, okay? So when you push those names, you are pushing the imaginations, the cunningly devised fables, the falsehoods that go against this truth, which are the strongholds of this world. You see, our people are taken by these things. They hold on to our people very tightly. Christianity, Islam, right? That name, Jesus. I heard a chick the other night say that she didn't have a religion, right? She didn't believe in any form of religion, but she believed in that name. All right, so people even outside that don't claim religions claim that name. All right, that name is a strong tower, but not a strong tower, a strong hold over the people. All right, stronghold over the people, and that was a slip of the tongue. That name is not a strong tower, it's a stronghold. It's going to be taken down, and it is being taken down now. As a matter of fact, with the truth being on the earth, I mean, everything is being flipped right side up. Let me see if I can. I'm looking for this other scripture. Let me see. Let me see. This might be verse I'm thinking of. May be in the. Here. Let me see. I think it might come up with this word. Hold on. This is Isaiah 30. I'll start here at 20. The point being in 22. Isaiah 30 and 20 says, "And though the Lord give you the bread of adversity," all right, walking through this hell, all right, dealing with different conditions of the mind, all right, different fleshly conditions, okay, dealing with having to worry about death and sickness, okay. And though the Lord give you the bread of adversity, having to deal with deniers of the truth, scoffers, all these things are forms of hell in the sight of the remnant and the elect. And though the Lord give you the bread of adversity and the water of affliction, yet shall not thy teachers be removed into a corner any more. All right, your teachers are being seen here on both sides, as a matter of fact. You can see the ones that are telling you the truth, and you can see the ones that are lying to you. All right, we are making them bare. Esau Edom is being made bare, and you, all you people who hold him up. And though the Lord give you the bread of adversity and the water of affliction, yet shall not thy teachers be removed into a corner any more, but thine eyes shall see thy teachers, and thine ears shall hear a word behind thee, saying, This is the way, walk ye in it, when ye turn to the right hand and when ye turn to the left. All right, this truth. It has came and tapped on the shoulders of the remnant, the elect, and activated them. I mean, it has tapped liars on the shoulder too, but eventually they'll turn away from the truth. All right, for whatever reason, fame, money, glory, filthy lucre's sake. All right, being afraid of the creature instead of the creator. Okay. And again, Isaiah 30 and 21, and thine ears shall hear a word behind thee, saying, This is the way, walk ye in it, when ye turn to the right hand and when ye turn to the left. Now here's a point. And ye shall defile also the covering of thy graven images of silver, and the ornament of thy molten images of gold, and thou shalt cast them away as a menstruous cloth. Thou shalt say unto it, Get thee hence. And a lot of us came out of Christianity, Islam, walking in gross darkness, having the spirit of deep sleep on us, all right, believing in ourselves, okay, all of these things. And we said, Get thee hence to those philosophies and beliefs, you know, came out of whatever we were in to run to the strong tower, okay, all right, which is the Lord's name, all right, and the name goes with the reputation and reputation and everything else that comes with that name, the thought of that name, okay, all right. So I don't even. All right, let's go back here now. All right. What brought us here was, man, I probably could have made a couple videos, so excuse me for the length of this one. I'll try to keep track of the time better on the next one. All right, but let's go back here to, all right, the message. And we're speaking about me asking Google what is meant by if you are going through hell, keep going. It says the message. It says the complete phrase suggests that even when experiencing intense hardship, one should not succumb to despair, but instead should continue striving. It's a call to action and a reminder that temporary difficulties will not last forever, and that perseverance is key to navigating tough situations. Then it goes on to list possible origins of the statement, but ultimately all of this came through the Lord. Okay, let me find this really quick where he told Moses. And this goes back to omnipotent. All right, he who holds sway over all things. Okay, so the Lord was telling Moses to go talk to the people. Okay, and Moses was worried about, as you know, man, as I used to think also, like, man, I'm not really a good speaker, man. All right, is a point. And I'm not saying I'm Moses at all in any shape or form, but we go through the things that our forefathers did. The same thoughts, the same questions. All right, a lot of us in this day have those thoughts and questions also. All right, but this is just to prove omnipotent. Okay, and also when we were reading that uh, phrase, when you are going through hell, keep going, it had a section on where that phrase originated from. And the point being that I'm about to read here is that it originated from the Lord. All right. So it says, and Moses said, this is Exodus 4:10, and Moses said unto the Lord Yahweh, O my Lord, I am not eloquent, neither heretofore nor since thou hast spoken unto thy servant, but I am slow of speech and of a slow tongue. And the Lord Yahweh said unto him, Who hath made man's mouth? Or who maketh the dumb or deaf, or the seeing, or the blind? Have not I the Lord? All right. So that's where that phrase came from. Without even having to read that thing, you know, our thoughts go straight to the Lord, man. All right. So I think that finishes out that point, or the video. You know, if you are going through hell, keep going, which is a uh, exhortation type phrase. All right, for the remnant and the elect. All right, our salvation is nearer than what we expected. We see what time it is through these prophecies happening. Okay, we know what's coming. We know the last few prophecies that are left. We know the names. We know the fables, and we are still growing in spirit. Especially me. I am brand new at this. All right, brand new at this. But again, you know, just to not go on any further off the subject. All right, if you are going through hell, okay, keep going. So anyway, I hope that came through as sincere and edifying. And with that, all praise to Yahweh, in the name of his son, Yahweh Shai, in the name of the Holy Spirit. Double honors to my elders, apostles, and the bishops of Great Millstone, otherwise known as GMS for short, also known as the Prophets of Doom. These are where I have learned this truth and where I am still learning this truth. And also shalom to the remnant and the elect of Israel. All right, Lord willing, I'm of that number, and Lord willing, we'll see you in the next video. Shalom.